Well, hello everybody. Tyler here with the news podcast. We're revamping and bringing it back live 24/7. We're going to kick it off with some interviews of city council and, well, even a guest speaker, the city administrator here. And I'll let him introduce himself, and we'll go through a series of questions and bouncing back and forth here, and hope you guys enjoy this.
All right. Well, hi, Tyler. Thank you for the invite to be on your podcast. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for coming. It's kind of a short notice thing. I threw you an email, and you were right away there with it. People know who you are, but the real question is, what does a city administrator do for our community?
Sure. Well, basically, I work under the general guidance and direction of the city council, and then provide overall direction and coordination of all city operations to implement the goals, objectives, and policies that have been established by the city council. I'm kind of the conduit between the city council, the elected officials, and department heads and other staff to make Lonsdale as great as it can be.
So it sounds like you're kind of all over, have multiple roles. What does an average day look like for you with what you do?
Sure. Well, no day is typical. Yesterday, I was, we got Lonsdale Liquors, our liquor store here in town. It's a municipal. So we had our liquor store meeting last night. So it was prep for that. We're in the process of selling the old city hall with us moving into the new location. We've got a safety committee meeting tonight. So working on preparing for that meeting. We've got a public hearing to rezone a piece of property for an apartment facility. That meeting is on Thursday night, so getting ready for that. Met with the business on an expansion. Today it's this podcast, and prepare for our next budget meeting, which is on September 9th. So that'll pretty much wrap up the day, and then anything else that pops up, or staff or residents that come to City Hall and
any other phone calls, text messages, will come your way.
That never stops.
How long have you been with the city of Lonsdale, and even here in Lonsdale?
Sure. Well, I started in December of 2004, so over 20 years. And my wife and I moved to Lonsdale in November of 2005. So we've been here since then, raised our two daughters here, and Lonsdale's home.
That's great. So being a long resident of Lonsdale and working as a city administrator, what do you think makes our city unique compared to others in the area?
Sure. Well, I guess I would have to say the number of parks and open space and trails that we have. Every city has parks and trails, right? They've got the typical ball fields, a soccer field. They flood the ice rink in the winter. But I would say some of the parks and quality of life amenities that we have in town that separate us would be pickleball. That's becoming more prevalent in communities. We've got a disc golf course that opened up. We had the grand opening for that earlier this year. We've got an archery range up by the compost site, and then the fishing pier at Rezac Nature Preserve. So I think those few things really set us apart and provide a quality of life that people enjoy.
You know, I personally visited the archery range when I moved here 4 years ago, and that's a nice little area. And the pier or pond is not too far around that corner there as well. I'm from a smaller community up north, and they had some stuff like you're saying, but they didn't have an individual fishing pier or pond.
Mm-hmm.
And their archery range was actually out of city limits, ran by organization, not the city. That's really cool. So being here for a while, being with the city for a while, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the city right now, and how are you tackling them?
Sure. Well, when I moved here, the population was about 2,000, and we're at 5,000 now. So help manage the city, grow and develop, and increase the population more than double. I would say the issues facing the city right now would be housing. There is a demand for residential lots in Lonsdale, and we have basically about 10 lots that were left over from the early 2000s, which were the least desirable, most picked over lots. And so we're working with developers now to start residential developments again. We've had several meetings with one developer. I do believe that they're going to get something going next spring. And then, as I mentioned, the apartment complex that we're working on with the developer. Just trying to find ways to bring affordable housing to Lonsdale. As we all know, houses in town probably start around that. Well, not much less than 300,000. 400 isn't an uncommon number.
Not anymore.
And when you're a young family and don't have two incomes working, it becomes unaffordable. So we would really like to provide as many housing options as possible for our residents. And then just economic development. Everyone's looking for the next business, and we've actually been meeting here recently with a number of businesses that are interested in Lonsdale, whether it's locating here, a second location for them, or, as I said earlier, met with the business yesterday that is looking for to expand. So it's not always easy. Everything kind of has to fall into place. Everyone has to, it's got to pencil out for everyone as far as the developer on the residential lots, the business on the cost and increase in taxes. And it's got to work for the city as well, right? It's got to be fairly consistent with their comprehensive plan and the future of the community.
Very, very, very good on that one. And there's a lot of expansion coming on. I've watched the city council meetings. We got the Quick Trip coming into town. You have the new car wash. There's a lot of long-term vision that goes into doing stuff like that. And there's a lot of day-to-day stuff and people coming in and out. Like you're saying, your day starts at this, but it could easily lead to a meeting here, unscheduled podcast interview like you're doing with me. How do you balance the long-term vision of the city with the immediate needs of the residents and what's going on now?
Right. Well, it's not easy. We always hear, I moved to Lonsdale because it's a small town. And it still is. But just given our geographic location, Lonsdale is going to continue to grow. And hopefully the residents can be part of the process, whether it's serving on an advisory board or running for elected office to, contribute their time to make Lonsdale the best it can be now and into the future. But kind of long-term planning, we've got a comprehensive plan that is kind of our planning Bible that we refer to on a regular basis. It covers everything from parks and open spaces to city facilities, park and rec amenities, infrastructure. So we use that quite a bit as a reference for the long term and really establish priorities. If it's a priority, you allocate funding for it through the budget process. So kind of establish the 1 to 5 year goals, which are maybe day to day and increase the collection at the library, for example, or kind of simpler things like that. And then the longer term would be, they tend to be more expansion of facilities, infrastructure, street reconstruction projects. So yeah, it's a balancing act. You're walking that fine line, and hopefully the majority of the residents are happy with the decisions that are made.
You make a key point on that. You do what's the best. You create these long-term visions while still dealing with the short-term stuff of the day-to-day operations, keeping the streets clean, removing the snow, to making sure you have those long visions of growth, of bringing people in, residents in, businesses in. Let's face it. Follow the Lonsdale happenings. You'll see people on there. They will definitely more complain. And many people will see the city government when there's the problem. Like, hey, my house is falling apart, or hey, the sky's falling. How do you, in your experience of doing this, and how do you keep the residents engaged and informed when things are running smoothly? When the sky isn't falling, how do you keep residents, informed and engaged with that?
Sure. Well, we run or live stream all of our city council meetings and advisory board meetings on our YouTube channel. We have a city website that if people are looking for information, that's available 24/7. Probably a little bit more reliable than some social media sites. And then social media, kind of joking about that, but recently got a Facebook site and are doing more posts and interactive things, and I think that's going well, and I think we're to the point where we're prepared to take it to the next level and get more involved and hopefully hit the right people, not only the residents of Lonsdale, but people that are considering moving to town or a business through those marketing means.
So we talked about the long-term goals, short-term goals, how people could watch and be informed. We talked a lot about business. But what about you? What upcoming projects or initiative are you most excited about?
Well, I guess I would have to say, as I said before, working here for 20 years, it was at the height of the boom, or maybe the tail end of it, when we were issuing 150, 160 building permits a year. I believe so far this year we've issued 17, which both my staff and I were kind of amazed that we've issued that many permits so far, just given the amount of lots that are available. But I think it's when you look at the community, you're gonna some people are gonna agree, some people are gonna disagree with what you do. I think at the end of the day, you just have to make your decisions based on the best interests of the community overall, and move forward with that. So it's going to be the housing that we talked about. People do want to move here. I don't blame them. Lonsdale's great. If I was looking for a place to locate in the South Metro, I would definitely look at Lonsdale as well. Not only because it's affordable, but again, our geographic location to the South Metro, halfway between there and Mankato. It's nice and centrally located in, we'll say, central Minnesota. And then again, just seeing some of the businesses doing their expansions and being part of that is, I guess, a benefit personally of, hey, I helped create, I shouldn't say help process their goal of business expansion and continuing to build on what they established as their business. And plus, when you go past all the parks that we've created, it's nice to see kids playing there and utilizing the equipment. And again, going back to what I said before, we've got a vast components of our park system, from just open spaces to, like you said, the fishing pier, the skate park, things like that. So just seeing the community grow and to look at where it was in the past compared to where it is now.
You mentioned the affordable housing and where we're at location-wise, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier today. I moved here 4 years ago from, quote, the city area, and I'm originally from a smaller town 5 hours north. And we chose Lonsdale, my wife and I, for a few different reasons, and you've hit on them. More, in a sense, more affordable housing down here, more bang for your buck. The community involvement was what really surprised me when I moved in. And in a sense, some people say we're a bedroom community, but we have a lot of other great stuff going on in the city and definitely going to expand more. But we're not too far away from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Burnsville, Lakeville. Realistically speaking, not even really Rochester area. And I think you nailed that one right on. You've been here a while. You've lived here for a while. The last bullet question I'm going to ask you, and it's going to be the most hardest. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. If you could tell the residents one thing that is not really realized about how their city runs, what would that be?
I would say that it really is a 24/7 operation. You don't see Public Works driving around after hours unless they're plowing snow. Obviously, police and fire, paid on-call fire, 24/7 police protection. Residents will see that at night, but they expect their toilet to flush, the water to turn on when they want to take a shower. All that stuff has to run 24/7 through our treatment plant, our infrastructure, and if something goes wrong, staff is monitoring that on a regular basis. The amount of and also I would say too, the amount of work that our staff does in house, I think is amazing compared to other communities where maybe they'll, contract out vehicle repairs. Our staff is capable of performing those type of repairs. Some of this equipment and facility repairs, that just the background of our staff, that the knowledge that they bring to the city has benefited us tremendously. Some of this trade stuff, the concrete. Prime example would be the Public Works just poured an apron out at the J.C. Park at our booster station, or the warming house there. And, that was supposed to be part of the project. We decided we would do it in-house to save some costs. There was also a double door put in that we actually did, or not we, Public Works staff did it in-house. They busted the block out, framed it up, put the door in. I think it's things like that go a long way. It's not just we're driving around. We really care about the community. A lot of us live here, and the tenure of staff is quite long. So I guess I look at it as, we view it as our house. I work out of City Hall, so I view that as my house. I treat it like it's my house. If something needs to be picked up or cleaned, or something's not right, address it. So I would say, the amount of stuff that we do in-house, and just the level of care that our employees have for the community, and want it to succeed and be prosperous.
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for coming down here and doing this interview with me here, for everybody can see it in the future here. Thank you for what you do for the community of Lonsdale, and being the passionate person you are within it, and the backbone of it, of the experience of being here for so many years. We definitely appreciate that. For everybody that's going to watch this, please stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more interviews coming in. City councilors. We're going to have 24-hour live information slideshow coming up on the Lonsdale News Facebook group. Just like Joel was saying here, the city of Lonsdale does have that new Facebook group. Like, comment, share. Let's blow that up. We've got 5,000 residents. Let's make 5,000 likes on that. And just follow the links in the comments below, and you can definitely submit questions for future podcasts, who you want to see on here. If you want to be on it, let me know. We can. I got plenty of cameras down here. Joel will definitely tell you that, and we can do this anywhere you want to do it. But before we do sign off here, do you have any last questions, comments, or concerns there, Joel?
No, I just thank you for the opportunity to be on your podcast, and look forward to continue to make Lonsdale as great as it can.
And we are definitely doing that. We'll talk to everybody later.